during the HELLAS committee meeting that there was too little time to address some issues which are important for GL and which are important for the work we do. And I always enjoy being with you, and if there's no time, it's always a track, and therefore I suggested that we have a kind of press briefing, a dinner here in order to exchange some views and discuss a little about the maritime challenges. And I am a lucky person because I am allowed to travel a little bit, and I have discovered that journalists have to eat once in a while, and it seems to be a good idea to combine a press briefing with a lunch or a dinner, and it's always appreciated. And we just discovered that last week in Japan, and we discovered that in the UK and even in Germany, and I think it's a good method of presenting some topics and at the same time having some fun. As I mentioned that we have many items on our list, I just want to go through what we have prepared. I would like to explain a little bit about changes within GL, which happened last year or the years before. I would like to look into some of the important questions of the maritime industry, and I assume that Pierre Samus is going to help when there are some intriguing questions from you, since he is the person who knows much more about emission control than I do. And I would like to point out that there are some areas which are really interested in terms of alternative challenges for companies who are into shipping and who are looking for new areas of activities, just like in the offshore segment. And since my presentation is only an introduction, the main speaker of this lunch briefing is Dr. Pierre Samus. He is our head of strategic research and development, and he had developed a new tanker design with a Greek colleague, and he will elaborate on that Aframax tanker design in more details later on. Let me just continue with my presentation, what's new. There are various aspects which are new. I would assume that it is fair to say that GL is in a period of transition. We had been, and we are still, a classification society, which is growing, but at the same time we have developed our other business segments like oil and gas and renewables to such an extent that they are three very strong pillars of our business activities. If you look at the maritime business segment, we can clearly see that GL is now a classification society with more than 7,200 vessels in service. We are close to 100 million GT in 2011. That's predicted, isn't it? Yeah?
Oh yes, we'll have more than 100 million gross tons in class end of this year. So.
And we are already thinking of having a party.
Oh yes, we will do.
And we are doing some planning approval of 500 new builds each year, and we have set up an area which is called Maritime Solutions, where we combine our consultancy work, certification, software and training. And last but not least, there is the important element of maritime systems and components, which is one very strong element in the overall turnover of GL. Then there are two other business segments which are not so well known. It's oil and gas. Under the label of GL Noble Denton, we offer technical assurance, engineering consultancy, asset performance and maintenance, marine operations. So whenever there is a checkup platform all over the world being moved from one place to the other, from one exploration project to the other, there is an assumption that GL Noble Denton has a say with it. We are doing at least 25% of each and every checkup operation on an annual basis, which is a lot. And surely project execution and software products as in all the other business segments, are very important. Last but not least, renewables. GL had acquired a British company in 2009, and now we are a very strong service provider in that segment too, and I will talk about that a little bit later. We have all over 6,800 employees in over 80 countries. GL is surely a truly international service provider, and even our turnover has increased recently despite the impact of the financial and the economic crisis. If I look at the main business segment, Ship Classification Society, we have overall 2,300 employees in 71 countries. Our main business segments are ship new building, and we can see from the last sales report that shipbuilding is now getting started again. And getting started is a good word. I would just invite you to get started. The salad is already served, and please start with your first course. Ship new building, that's a very interesting element, and it is something which we are really looking at because it is the basis of introducing new and innovative technologies. It's the level of making sure that the ships of the future are that they are energy efficient, safe, and offer a much more reduced level of emission. And as you can see from the picture here, the GL is covering all sorts of vessels, not only container vessels, but tankers, multi-purpose vessels, special purpose vessels, naval vessels, and WTIS, wind turbine installations vessels. And I'm going to talk about that later too. I already mentioned the different segments of this business area. Fleet and service, there is a constant attempt to improve our services and constant refinement of our software tools, and I guess we can talk about that later on. Let me just show you a little bit more information on our oil and gas business. It is apparently even bigger than classification. There are 3,200 or 3,100 employees in 35 countries. We are basically all over the world where oil and gas explorations are conducted, and we concentrate on various offshore structures, terminals, mobile units, pipelines, subsea installations, and this long list of companies had been all integrated under the label GL Noble Denton. And here I have listed all the services which we are offering, and there are ample examples of what we do and where we do it. And whenever there is anything happening in the oil and gas industry, and we ask at the head office in London whether we are involved, and you can surely bet that somebody is telling that we have done a short or a kind of assessment or a study or done some research. So it's a very exciting new world for GL to be part of the oil and gas business.